5 most brutal boxing matches in sports history. In ESPN's comprehensive ranking of 60 different sports, the toughest sport in the world, pound for pound, is boxing. It demands the most from the athletes in terms of power, speed, hand-eye coordination, and durability. With the boxer's goal of inflicting injury and knocking down his opponent, boxing is insanely savage. So let's relive 5 of the most brutal boxing matches. But hey, they're not for the faint-hearted. Number 1. Roberto Duran versus Davey Moore. Prior to his 1983 match with junior middleweight champion Davey Moore, Roberto Duran was on the brink of a disgraceful retirement after quitting a rematch with Sugar Ray Leonard in 1980. The proud, macho Latino decided to fight again in 1983, culminating in a bout with Moore at Madison Square Garden. Moore was the betting favorite, but Duran proved it was his time for redemption. From the opening round, Duran aggressively took charge, putting Moore on the defensive. Toward the end of the first round, Duran's thumb connected with Moore's right eye, and by the fourth, it was swollen shut. At the end of the 7th round, Duran knocked Moore down. With a finish him off now order from his trainer, Duran served up more brutal beatings to Moore, while various ringsiders pleaded for the fight to stop, causing Moore's mother and girlfriend to faint. Only when the bloodied towel of Moore was thrown into the ring did the referee call the fight to an end. Duran won his 3rd division title, but more than that, he regained the world's respect once more. Number 2. Luis Resto versus Billy Collins Jr. The Luis Resto versus Billy Collins Jr. June 1983 match was so ferociously controversial that it became the subject of a 2008 HBO sports documentary titled Assault in the Ring. The film spilled the truth about the spectacle of brutality that led to Resto's imprisonment and Collins' death. Their fight was the undercard for the equally notorious Duran versus Moore bout. Collins was favored to win, but underdog Resto unexpectedly beat him in a 10-round unanimous decision. However, it was discovered that Resto's gloves were tampered with by his trainer, Panama Lewis.
And 2 had C on it. I observed a hole in the left and right glove that was marked R.
They lacked 1 ounce of padding, and plaster of Paris was added to harden them. Thus, Resto's merciless punches and blows severely and permanently damaged the eyes of Collins that abruptly ended his career. While Resto and Lewis were found guilty of illegal assault and subsequently served time in jail, Collins died in a car crash the following year, which was deemed a suicide. Clearly, no one emerged a winner in this tragic fight. Number 3. Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier. As iconic as it's become, Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier's final face-off in the 1975 Thrilla in Manila in the Philippines has likewise gone down in boxing history as one of the most iconic fights ever. The bout for the title of the world's heavyweight champion, their 3rd match, was a highly anticipated deal-breaker as Ali and Frazier were even at the scorecard. The early rounds of the fight belonged to Ali, but Frazier began to maul his way into the dream match that had gone a grueling testosterone-loaded 14 rounds. Both champion boxers kept their punches flying as they sustained injuries. But before the end of the 14th round, Frazier's manager, Eddie Futch, threw in the towel despite Smoke and Joe's protests, fearing that Frazier's existing visual impairment would render him too unfit to survive another round. Ali clinched the heavyweight championship title, but not without a surprising confession. It was like death. Closest thing to dying that I know of. Number 4. Barry McGuigan versus Steve Cruz. The 1986 Ring Magazine Fight of the Year belonged to a match with an astonishingly unpredictable outcome courtesy of boxers Barry McGuigan and Steve Cruz. McGuigan, the newly crowned featherweight champion at the time, was expected to triumph easily over Cruz, an unheralded boxer from Texas replacing the injured Fernando Sosa. In fact, Cruz was paid $70,000 against McGuigan's $500,000 paycheck for their summer match in Las Vegas. The fight that initially was perceived uneventful pulled a big surprise when McGuigan was knocked down in the 10th and 12th rounds, yet still ahead in the judges' scorecards. Cruz finally got the upper hand in the 15th round when he knocked down McGuigan twice and eventually won by a 1-point margin. The open arena Nevada fight in the sweltering 109-degree heat took a toll on Irishman McGuigan, whose previous fights were held in temperate Ireland. Alas, the unbearable heat and his ferocious work left McGuigan drained, dehydrated, and defeated. Number 5. Marvin Hagler versus Thomas Hearns. The Marvin Hagler versus Thomas Hearns match was billed as the fight that turned into the war in just 8 minutes and 3 rounds. The undisputed champion Marvelous Marvin and the challenger Tommy the Hitman squared off on April 15, 1985 at Caesars Palace in Nevada for an anticipated World Middleweight Championship match. Both are renowned for their punching power, so the bout's first 3 minutes was an exciting and incredible back-and-forth trading of power punches. The slugfest broke Hearns' right hand, while Hagler had a cut on his forehead, and that was just round 1. The action in round 2 slowed down, but Southpaw Hagler pinned Hearns to the ropes and succeeded in throwing him a flurry of punches at the end of the round. At the start of the 3rd round, Hagler's cut on the forehead opened and covered his face in blood, but it didn't deter him from aggressively landing a hard right hook on Hearns' head and followed it up with a crushing right hand to Hearns' chin. As his opponent was semi-conscious, Hagler landed 2 ferocious uppercuts that made Hearns fall face first on the canvas. The 8 minutes of mayhem cemented Hagler's legacy as one of the greatest middleweights in history. If you enjoyed this video, then please subscribe to our channel for your daily fix of awesome infotainment.